Alrighty, take two. Take two. Yeah, we should be live now, and it should be all good to go.
Yeah, maybe click on the podcast tab.
Podcast tab. Let's have a look.
We just had a problem earlier, so that's why we want to make sure that we are actually this is happening.
Well, it's not saying it is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, did you just hit go live or?
Well, it's podcasting, so it should. I mean, there's going to be lag. There's always going to be like a variety of lag when you're going live and doing different things.
Yeah, what's the notifications say up there in the bell? The bell right there.
No, that's messages.
Yeah, well, right there it would say we're going live. So
okay.
I don't think we're live for some very weird reason.
Yeah, I don't know if this is having issues.
Yeah, look on my phone.
Or what the situation is. No, there we go. We're live. It just took a while to pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ignore everything that you just saw. We know what we're doing.
I think Substack is having issue today, so that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is the second podcast because the first one had a weird disconnect and just failed.
Well, second one today.
Yeah, the second one today.
What are you doing, bud?
This is our special guest, by the way. This is Ryan Ozzie Smith, 50% of the current Space and Time publishers. I'm Angela Eureka Smith, the other 50% of the current Space and Time publishers. And this is Chupacabra, who is the office assistant and lead snack, and also the cuddle person. He's our therapy publisher.
Yes, indeed. And welcome in, Jordan. All right, so let's hopefully see if we can get through everything that we needed to, because earlier we had some technological issues.
Yes,
and then
goblins.
You had a Reedsy thing that you had to run off to, which when you're trying to fit all the things in, it makes it really, really difficult.
Yes. Yeah, so if I seem frenetic and maybe a little bit tired and wandery, it's because we did a podcast and then I immediately went and did the Reedsy class, which was really fun. And the links are in the Substack notes. I think you can still join to watch the replay, but I was talking about flash fiction, which is what we're publishing.
Yes.
What we just published today. 150 is released technically yesterday on the 4th. And why on the 4th?
Because it's Star Wars Day.
Yes.
May the 4th be with you.
Yay, he said it. I just wanted him to say the words.
Because, every time we say that, we get sued by the Star Wars Corporation.
Shh, don't tell them. But yeah, so technically that magazine issue released yesterday. It is, right now it's populating, but it will be available in ebook on the 8th of May. I forgot what month this was. It should be paperback now. That should be populating in the stores where you shop. And then we are working on the dyslexia-friendly edition and the large print edition. So we are expanding our editions and our accessibility so more people can read these amazing stories that have been submitted. Yeah,
I really like the look of the dyslexia edition, and I tried to look through the large print, but it just kept going.
I know, it's so large.
So many pages.
I'm very happy I don't need large print yet.
Yeah.
Because it gives me almost like a feeling of panic, like so much space has been wasted here. But yeah.
Yep.
It would make it easier to see if I needed it. So
it's going to be beneficial if you try and get into libraries and stuff like that. So
and when I worked in a library, that was one of the main complaints of the librarians that I worked with was there's not enough large print editions for people. So
absolutely. All right. So what are our updates? And hello.
Hey, Coffee Fueled Stories and Jordan. Thank you guys for joining. Thanks for everybody who joined the first time when there was a weird tech goblin issue. I don't know what happened.
I'm gonna blame solar flares and Mercury retrograde and aliens and all of those sorts of things. It's always them. It's not my computer having a hissy fit.
No, not at all. It was definitely tech issues in the techosphere.
Techosphere. All right, so let's have a look at some old school magazines. So what's the update with these?
Well, this is what we are working on behind the scenes right now. is these are the original old magazines. This is under Gordon Linsner's day. Coffee Field Story. Michelle says definitely solar flares.
Yes.
But so we have an archive that many of you have heard of that we've been building, and it concludes every single issue of Space and Time since 1966. These are scanned copies. And so we are just about done with that. So that will probably be ready. I don't even want to give a time because every time I give an actual time, it doesn't happen, but ASAP. And you can read all of these great stories. These are written in over the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. So they're kind of like a great time capsule of speculative fiction as well.
Yeah.
And this is why Space and Time is the longest running, see if I can get all the adjectives right, longest running semi-pro in continuous print in the United States today. I think that's all the adjectives.
You watch it on repeat later, and that's going to be a thing.
Oh, I forgot to say this.
It's like one of those, when those really important people come in the fantasy thing, and it's like, or like, Game of Thrones with this is Queen Daenerys, Stormborn, breaker of chains, and just goes on for like what seems like forever. Yes, that's kind of the classification of this magazine. So.
Yes, it's been around for a while. It's mini titles.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
But yeah, so that should be done soon. Like I said, we just released 150.
Yeah.
It is probably the most, I feel like I say this every issue.
Yeah.
Most gorgeous issue.
No, it's really
ever.
cool.
Yeah,
it's really
it
cool.
is beautiful. The themes are working gorgeous. We can actually share. We're not in such a rush, so we can actually share this issue so you can see what is contained in Space and Time. The cover, I can actually share this story now. One of the delays was, ironically, the theme for this issue is Rest is Resistance. And the reason why we wound up running to the last moment was because our cover artist, which is Kira Starr, wound up getting diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome in the middle of the cover. So it made it so, on one hand, on the publishing side, want to be like, well, just stick a cast on and take some aspirin and finish this cover. But the entire purpose of this cover is to say that creators don't need to create on demand, and that we should control when we are creating and have value in our time as creators. So to tell her to hurry would be kind of like not walking the walk or whatever, talking the talk, but not walking the walk.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I love the cover. It is based on The Hanged Man, and hello, Elizabeth is just joined. The Hanged Man, which if you get into your tarot card nerdery, the Hanged Man represents a few things. One, it is the sacrifice. And so in this image, this is after a real boy that the artist knew. I almost said the name. I was like, maybe I won't say the name, but he went to her middle school and at the time got kicked out of middle school, like put on probation or whatever you call it, for having cigarettes, for getting caught with cigarettes on school grounds. So they kicked him out of the school temporarily, but he stayed out of the school. He never went back. And so it was a sad story in the artist's mind, Kira's mind, because he lived at her bus stop. And so every morning and every night, she'd get on the bus and there would be this boy sitting on his porch looking at the kids that he can no longer join. And then after she would get off school, there he would be sitting on his porch smoking. So that's the sacrifice of society is why he inspired this card, which was is the Hangman.
Yep.
And here he is in a school ground, hanging upside down on a slide. But the Hanged Man, I'm like, I don't want to go too far into my tarot geekery, but one of the things that's important about the Hanged Man is that his hands, you can never see them, or there is an element of hidden power there. And so for us, his hands are behind his head because he's creating something in his mind right now. He may be the sacrifice of society, but he is redeeming himself with his own creativity, and that's his power. That's a long explanation.
No, it's a good explanation. It didn't go too far into it, but it's very, very cool cover. Yeah. And then the rest of it. I mean, the rest of it's very, very similar to what we had previously. Because we have done a couple of releasey sort of things. Yeah. But yeah, was there any other updates that we had going on?
Not really. You'll see a few differences from last month. One of them is the titles are very visual now. Figured out some new things to do. I'm just really kind of like, oh, and this story was so good, and that story was so good, especially getting off of talking about flash fiction and poetry. And
can't talk about each individual story.
Yeah,
haven't got time.
Well, that's what each podcast is for. We'll be delving more into these stories as we run through the month of May. But yeah, I'm just really excited. Each of these stories follows the theme of rest is resistance, the poetry as well. Linda D. Addison selected the poetry, and it's phenomenal how it fits with the stories. I'm just cannot say enough good things about this issue and all the authors and artists and everybody that took part in this issue.
Yeah, awesome. So you just came off of a speaking engagement at Reedsy. For those that don't know, really, really awesome opportunity. What was the biggest tip that you gave everybody when it comes to submitting to short form fiction?
Yeah, not making sure you understand that flash fiction is not just short fiction. There's so much more that has to go into it. It's actually harder for many people to write a flash fiction than a full story because everything is economy. Because you only have, if you're doing a drabble, that's 100 words.
Yeah.
So you only have 100 words. Even your adjectives have to convey story. Every single word cannot be wasted. We have 1,000-word stories, so you get a little bit more, but you still have to be, you have to have emotional resonance, you have to have transformation. These are the things that make a story memorable.
Yeah, I really liked during the conversation, I was working on my own things, but I was listening to it. I really liked how you were talking about with short fiction, the distillation process, as in you've got a lavender bush, and if you distill it into lavender essence or lavender essential oils, then you've got something that's really distilled and really packs a punch. I don't know if I agree with the, if you use too much, then it can be dangerous.
I think you have to be careful.
You have to be careful. Yeah, that always means dangerous.
You could drown in a vat of lavender oil. That is a good story plot, by the way.
You could drown in a lot of different things, but I do agree with that in that you have to distill everything. So it's like the editing process of a short story should be like, you want to write 1,000 words, write 5,000 words, and then cut it, then cut it, then cut it, then cut it, then cut it. I remember when I was doing my novel and it was like 200,000 words, and you're like, well, I'm gonna cut this in half. And it makes it a lot better when you don't have a lot of the fluff, the pomp and circumstance, especially with a shorter piece.
Oh yeah. That is my metaphor for what flash should be. Is the bush, a lavender bush, is a novel, and you want the essential oil, and that's your flash fiction.
So no bush.
No bush. And you can write in the comments whatever you think we might be talking about.
Exactly. Get rid of the bush.
I will say, I'm always impressed that our marriage survived you writing a novel and editing of it. It's not easy to be edited, and it's what takes all the fluff out of a story and makes it essential.
It's kind of like the equivalent of like doing remodeling in the kitchen and having the arguments and stuff. So we went through that phase, but at the same time, it's useful when you know that the person editing has a lot more skill than you when it comes to writing. So it's like, well, professional writer and comes in and edits, so you know that they know what they're talking about. But yeah, so I think that's all of our updates
that's pretty much
for this particular week.
If you want to go get your hands on your copies and also watch the space for the dyslexia friendly and large print editions, go to spaceandtime.net, and that leads to the Substack. Or if you're already on the Substack, you can just go to the Opportunities page and look up, and it's one of the tabs. And then you can find the link. And it is a universal link, so it should go to wherever you normally buy your books.
All right. Awesome sauce. All right, so we're going to head out. Thank you so much for popping by, guys. And for anybody watching the replay, we love your faces. And we will have another update next week with some more cool stuff.
At the same time. And next week, we're going to be actually starting to talk about some of the stories, which is kind of the point of this podcast, is to really dip into what is in the magazine, talking about the stories. last month's issue was for National Poetry Month. So there was 31 poems and I think 8 or 9 stories. I can't remember, but it was a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So
a lot of different things.
But yeah, now we can kind of slow down. This is month 2 of the monthly rhythm, and we have not broken anything yet. So
well, not anything important. So it's all good.
You're looking at Judy. Look. I was like, what's been broken?
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys later. Richard Hogan. Apologies, we're just signing off, but you can watch the replay here in just a little bit.
Yep, and we'll be back next Tuesday at the normal time, which I think is 2:30 Eastern.
Yeah, roundabout.
Yeah.
It's like lunchtime. Tune in around lunchtime. All right, guys, we'll catch you later.
Bye.